We are back. We have a change right off the bat due to copyright infringements. This podcast is now going to be called Lottie and Mac Sports on the Sack. Quartet's representing from the cul-de-sac, Pine Meadow Drive, 27th September. And we're going to be joined, as always, we're joined right now by the Don Father. He doesn't have a mic yet. We're going to make him earn it tonight. He's got a little background work to do. Mike, what do you think about the Don Father's week one?
Well, it can't get any worse, Bobby Mack. But we're going to give him another chance this week. He's got the toughest job on the podcast. Makes or breaks people. So I think there's better days ahead, but we'll see.
Agree. Don Father, just kidding. Looking forward to your advice. I want to know who I should start and sit. Of course, I'll start who you say to sit and sit who you say to start. But anyway, heart and soul of the show, Yankee baseball, pinstripes, the Empire. Week in review since we were last here, swept up the Sox. What else is new? We've been doing this for years. Of course, you're not hearing a lot from the Sox fans these days, but that's how they do it. They acted like they were in pain for 100 years. They win one, win a couple more, and now all of a sudden there's hats everywhere, the sickos sign. Not saying much these days.
You know what they've already done? They've moved on to that juggernaut, the New England Patriots.
Stay hot. Stay hot. All right, the Jays took care of us last night in extras. Every extra inning game, I can't even pay attention after 9 because I can't stand the new baby rules in baseball. But we're going to wrap it up soon with the rest of this Jays series. Moving on to the Orioles. The Birds are tough. We end up with the Rangers, and we look forward to moving on. Mike, what do you got for me this week as far as Judgy and the boys and maybe moving into the postseason?
Well, Judge, he's a win-first guy. I think the attention it's not getting to him. I think he wants to deflect everything. It can't be easy for him. I mean, it's not like he's going for a milestone in terms of just getting hits. I mean, he's trying to hit a home run. I mean, against pitchers that are really locked in and dialed in on him. I thought on that Thursday night, Boston didn't give him a lot to hit, but I do give the Red Sox credit. I thought on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday they challenged him. He missed a couple high fastballs that he usually takes care of. Last night, kind of the same thing. Noticed just a little bit more of an uppercut than normal. I don't know. Did you see the same thing? Maybe trying to elevate the ball too much?
You know what I see? I see a really good baseball player trying to do a difficult thing, hit the baseball, hit it hard, and at some point, with a guy of his strength, elevate it and get it out of the ballpark. But again, he's win first, get on base, make all the baseball plays, and I'm not even overly concerned about it because let's be honest,
Nor am I.
This is a Yankee thing, this
Right.
is a media thing. 61's not the record.
That's all they talk about on these broadcasts, though. Michael Kay is always like, if one more guy gets on, Judge gets an at-bat. It's like, let's win some games. Let's just keep playing good baseball, and those things take care of themselves.
But I don't. This is for another show, and we certainly will get into this. But Barry Bonds hit more. He's not catching Bonds. It's the Yankee record, and that is special in and of itself, especially for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we're going to celebrate. Kind of like when Jeter got to hit in the rain against Baltimore. Great night, but we stopped the world for it. Let's win baseball games. We're on to October.
Yeah, people say he's slumping. Since his last home run, he's had 25 at-bats, and he's been on base 12 times. I mean, who doesn't sign for that in the major leagues right now?
What a slump.
Yeah, so we'll take that all day long.
Mike, last podcast we talked about the playoff roster, and we can't go through the whole thing again. It took us forever. But any changes in your mind?
Well, just reading some reports, about LeMahieu and Carpenter and Benintendi. Joel Sherman in particular was saying that Carpenter's last image was positive. LeMahieu's close to coming back, and then I heard Boone in the pregame saying he's either playing tomorrow or the opening day against Baltimore. They don't know what he's going to be able to do. They say he's very comfortable in the field, but he can't turn on his back foot when he hits. So we're going to have to wait and see with that. And then Carpenter, Boone seems very optimistic that maybe he gets a piece of that 4-game series against the Rangers to close out the season. Now, those 3 guys, if they're semi-healthy and eligible and the Yankees put them on the roster, now you're talking about some domino effects of guys not being there.
Mike, again, this is probably better for another night, but at what point are we going to start calling these injuries what they are? Somebody doesn't perform well, they're in Tampa. If it's a pitcher, they progress them from throwing off, throwing without a baseball to playing catch with no soreness to throwing off an anthill to simulated this to simulated that. We got the World Series record in all time in Major League Baseball for real games, and I think we got the World Series record for simulated games. I mean, we must have won them all.
I agree with you 100% in terms of, especially the pitching staff. Cortez was a phantom IL all day long. Holmes. Severino didn't even know he went on the 60 days. He's like, when am I pitching next? They said 2 more months. Like, he had no idea. I think the hitting ones are a little bit more legitimate. I mean, we saw Carpenter break his foot on the foul ball. LeMahieu has not been himself. And then Benintendi with the hamate bone. I mean, fluke injury, but obviously it happened. So in terms of those injuries, Bobby, let's just say those 3 guys have any chance in October. Talk about your offensive depth. I see Carpenter playing the Ibanez role. If you guys remember Ibanez back in the day, coming off the bench, hitting those home runs against the Orioles and the Tigers in that playoff series. Now, you get a healthy DJ, what happens to Donaldson? Donaldson's a phenomenal third baseman. I'll be the first one to admit, but I'll take LeMahieu's stick all day long. And then you add Benintendi as left field, and Cabrera maybe becomes that jack of all trades, although I love that kid's energy, and he's batting over 300 the last 14 games. You hate to take him out of the lineup. I think DJ has the best chance to come back, and Carpenter's second. I'm not very optimistic about Benny. Maybe in the ALCS if we're fortunate enough to get back there.
Okay. All right, we are ready. Let's get through these regular season games and get on to meaningful baseball. On a cul-de-sac on the AM dial.
And can Stanton do something?
Relax.
I know that's your boy. Can he do something, please?
Postseason stud.
I don't want to hear I don't want to hear about the postseason right now. Bobby Mack, last 42 games, he's batting 149.
Saving him.
Don't save him too long. If Carpenter's healthy, you never know.
He's saving.
I don't think the Yankees would have the guts to do it, but Stanton 242 on base and 296 slugging in 42 games, but at least he hit a home run in the All-Star game.
Well, I like to call him Big G. Me and Judgy call him Big G, and looking forward to his at-bats in the postseason.
Okay.
Astros couldn't be reached for comment.
Okay.
Moving on. Yankee Empire. If you're a true pinstriper, you look forward to the Stay Hot Cashman segment. Questionable Cash, 1999. Amateur draft. In the first round, Cashman staying hot with his first rounders after going 0 for 1 last year in 98, and last week on the first pod. David Walling, no relation or son to Denny Walling from the Astros back in the day. Let's see what he did. He played 8 years in the minors, kicked around, never advanced beyond AAA. I think he got that call up just to show that we didn't mess up a first rounder. Never did a thing. David Walling. All right, the next one, got to give him a little credit for. In the 7th round, he picks a guy by the name of Andy Phillips. And if you remember Andy, I think he hit a big home run against the Sox one night. Could have been on Sunday Night Baseball, but Andy had a shot to be in the mix in the infield, maybe third base.
Right.
And by the way, drafted him the year after trading last week's subject, Mike Lowell. Wonder why they went after a third baseman, Mike.
Stay hot, Cash.
And then the other notable signing or draft pick from that year was way down in the 31st round where you reach for athletes, and he did. Kevin Thompson, if you remember, Yankee fans. Cup of coffee in 06, a little bit in 07. Of course, this is the 99 draft, so this is 7 and 8 years after the draft. Eventually DFA'd him before the A's picked him up for another little sip of coffee, and Kevin Thompson out of baseball. So, Cash, with that draft, what do you have to say about that?
Wow. Do we really have to talk about that? Boy, that was rough.
I think
Walling,
he should just remain hot.
Phillips and Thompson. Cash, what's going on with him back then? I think his scouting staff and his those guys do a pretty good job now. I think the last 8 to 10 years they've gotten better. But back then, Steinbrenner, all those guys, I don't think they put any credence in the draft whatsoever. They were just looking to outspend everybody, and then they would mask their mistakes by spending more money. I don't think they put a lot of time into the amateur stuff.
Can we mesh the two worlds together and go back to spending?
Yeah, a little bit
we're
of
already
balance.
over the tax. There's 6 teams paying the tax, and we're one of them. Can't we just pay more then?
Yeah, I mean,
win.
they keep saying they spend, and they do, $250 to $260 million. But when you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation like the Yankees, I mean, you got to do what the Dodgers are doing. They got the minor league system, and they're willing to pay top dollar for stars, and that's what the Yankees used to do. No longer.
Trying to win, Mike. Come on, Lottie.
I think they're just trying to make the playoffs, get a couple good games of ticket sales, concessions, and parking, and if they go on a roll, they go on a roll.